my gosh, you guys, I've literally missed this so much. Hey friends, it's Grace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been like 6 months since I last posted like a full-length video on here, so I'm so excited to be back. I felt the Lord leading me to take a little break to just spend some time focusing on Him, and I was just so busy with other things that I wanted to make sure I was really living present in the moment and spending time and prioritizing my walk with the Lord as well as my time with my family and friends. But now I feel like things have calmed down a little bit and I kind of feel Him leading me to maybe start this again. Today I'm going to share with you guys my journey as a ballet dancer. Honestly, such a cool story, and there's so many ways that God's been working throughout all of it. It's such a unique story, and it's really one that only God could write. So I'm so excited to share this with you guys. Before we get into the video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel for updates whenever I post a new video. It was December 2014, and I was obsessed with American Girl. I hadn't seen the movie for the girl of the year that year yet, and my mom and I watched it one night, and it was the movie Isabel. And Isabel, the American Girl doll, she's actually sitting up there. I have the doll. It's like right up there. But she's a ballet dancer. Her story, she danced in the Nutcracker. When I watched that movie, I just felt so like inspired, and like in that moment I just fell so in love with dance and with ballet specifically, and I just knew it was something I wanted to do. Funniest part is just that past summer, my mom had asked me if I'd ever want to try a dance class, and I told her that dance wasn't really my thing. I wrote my mom a letter explaining to her how I just felt really inspired. I just wanted to start dancing, and I actually still have that letter to this day. Fast forward about 6 months, it's now summer 2015. I'm 10 and a half years old, and I took my first ballet class. It was like a really short, I think it was like a 4-week summer class. It was just kind of an introduction just to see if I liked it before we committed to something more long-term. Is kind of what my parents were thinking, and I loved it. Day one, I was just like hooked. I was obsessed with ballet. I don't think I was super coordinated. I wasn't like flexible. I didn't have like necessarily like a natural just like knack for it. But I loved it, and that fall I started with a more regular class, and it was a beginning ballet class because obviously I was a beginner, and I was the oldest one in my class because I was almost 11, and then most of the girls were around 6 or 7, and then there's a couple like 3 and 4-year-olds in my class because like I said, it was beginning, so there's a big age range, but I feel like most of them are between like 5 and 7 years old. So I was the oldest, like substantially, but I didn't even care. Like honestly, I remember not really thinking that much of it at the time because I just loved dancing and I loved ballet. There wasn't any comparison like, oh, I'm in a class with 3-year-olds, like I'm so behind. It was just like, no, I just love dance. In a way, in my like immaturity, my immature faith of an almost 11-year-old, I knew dance was like a way I could worship the Lord. Like it was my way of worshiping, you know? It was my way of just being filled with such incredible joy at doing something that God wired me to do and getting to do it simply because I loved it, doing it for Him, not for the approval of other people or to be the best, but just to bring Him joy and to bring me joy. And so that was just a really cool place to be. So I took classes at that studio for about a year. I think fall 2016. I'm 11, almost 12. And I started taking dances at the dance studio that I currently dance with. And I started in level 2. They have 5 levels there. So I started in level 2, and I was with girls about my own age, and I loved it. Once again, it was kind of that next level up from the studio I had been at, and I was learning new things. I was growing that studio for a year, and then my second year I got into the Nutcracker. I did some ensemble roles like a child in the party scene, and I was in like a little part of like Snow and a little part of Waltz of the Flowers. We just call it Waltz. I was obsessed. Oh my gosh, being the Nutcracker was like my dream at the time, and it was such a dream come true. It was so magical, and I just loved the people that I got to dance with and the company and the way they did the story of the Nutcracker, and I've been there ever since. So I've now done the Nutcracker I think 7 times. Fast forward to like high school, we're getting into like junior, senior year, and I started getting lead roles within our different shows. My senior year I got to play the Sugar Plum Fairy in the Nutcracker, which was such an honor and a joy, and I have a vlog of that, so make sure to check it out if you haven't already because it's so fun. It's one of my favorite vlogs I've ever done. And I danced at my studio again that year after I graduated, or the fall after I graduated, because the spring I went to Disney for the Disney College program. But the fall after I graduated, I danced with my studio again, and I got to play the Snow Queen in the Nutcracker, which was super fun as well. But starting towards the end of high school, and especially once I graduated, I started to lose my love for dance. And I feel like that really stemmed from this pressure I started putting on myself to just always be perfect, always be the best dancer in the room, never make mistakes in class or rehearsal, just like do everything perfectly. If I messed up, I got to the point where like it would ruin my entire day. And I'd just be miserable and I'd be telling myself I'm a horrible dancer, and I just lost my joy in dance. Like, it didn't bring me joy to perform. It was literally something I was putting all on myself. Nobody else was like putting that pressure on me or expecting me to be perfect. I started comparing myself a lot to other dancers, whether that be other dancers at my studio or dancers I saw on social media. And it wasn't this healthy comparison, like seeing something they do well and trying to like learn from that and imitate that. It was an unhealthy comparison, like, oh my gosh, they're so much better than me, I'll never be as good as they are, like I'm a failure, I'm not a good dancer because I'm not as good as them. Dance stopped being about doing something that I loved and worshiping the Lord and just finding joy in like worshiping him through dance, and it became about me trying to make myself feel good, or me trying to prove myself to myself or other people, or just what other people thought of me, and it was just not a healthy place for me to be. So when I got accepted to the Disney college program, I was like, well, I'm not gonna be dancing while I'm down there, so I guess I'm just gonna be like stopping dance, like just do it for fun here and there, but like I'm not gonna dance anymore. And like I was okay with that because I didn't totally realize it, like I said, but I was putting so much pressure on myself that I had lost that love for dance, where I was like, I was okay with walking away. The longer I was there, the more I started to miss dance. I started to remember again a little bit of that love that I had for dance and the joy that it brought me, and I wanted to experience that again. When I decided to come back from Disney after my college program was done, I decided I was going to continue with dance, and I was going to dance in the Nutcracker with my dance studio again. And then right after I decided I was going to come back, I found out that I would have the opportunity to audition for my dream role of adult Clara in the Nutcracker. So I auditioned this past summer, I got the role, and I got to dance Clara in the Nutcracker this past December, which was just such a joy and an honor and like a magical experience. Like, I just can't even put it to words. It was amazing. But that experience would not have been so amazing had I not first attended a fall dance intensive with Ballet Magnificat in Mississippi. I had never done a dance intensive before. I'd done like master classes and stuff, but I was really excited to do my first intensive. Honestly though, even though part of me was excited, part of me didn't want to go. When I first got back from Disney, I was just thrilled to be dancing again, and I kind of had that joy that I had in dance back. But as the summer wore on and I got cast as Clara and we started Nutcracker rehearsals, I started falling back into those habits of putting a lot of pressure on myself, expecting myself to be perfect, living in comparison. And dance really became something that I wasn't excited for anymore. I would come home each week just feeling defeated, miserable, like a failure, and I didn't know how I got there, but I didn't like it. And so I was kind of nervous going into this intensive because I was like, everyone's probably gonna be so much better than I am, and like, I don't want to go and be so much behind everybody my age. But I went, and while I was there that week, the Lord totally met me and just radically transformed every area of my life. I fell in love with Jesus again, and it really, truly transformed. That's the only word I can like use to describe, is transformed every bit of my life, every area of my life. Dance was a big one. I really realized over that week how much of an idol dance had become, and how much I was comparing myself to other dancers and putting so much pressure on myself. And I really truly realized in that moment that I had lost my joy and my love for dancing in that comparison and that pressure, and that I was putting my worth in how well I thought I was doing as a dancer. Being at Ballet Mag and being around so many talented dancers from all across the country, my self-esteem as a dancer took like a plummet, and that's where God really met me and picked me up out of that and was like, hey, no, we gotta get this back in the right spot, back where it belongs. We need to make dance about worship again. It's about him. It's about worshiping the Lord through dance, praising his name through dance. And it's also about the joy that I experience when I do something that the Lord has wired me to do. I realized then that my dance journey wasn't about me being better than a classmate or being better than a dancer I watched on social media. It was about me growing as a dancer, pursuing excellence in the talents that God has given me. And it's about me growing and becoming a better dancer than I was last year, or than I was last month, or even yesterday. Like, it's just about me growing. The only person I should be comparing myself to is like past me. And I truly just found so much freedom and joy in that, and like my joy in dance and my love for dance was totally restored and actually rekindled like 1,000 times stronger than it had ever been. Suddenly I actually wanted to dance outside of class. I wanted to start cross training and really just making the most of those talents that God has given me. And while I was at FDI, the Lord started putting it on my heart to begin auditioning for professional Christian ballet companies, which brings me to where I am today. This past winter into spring, I've been auditioning for a couple of different Christian professional ballet companies, specifically for their trainee divisions. And I've learned so much through the audition process. I don't know yet if I've gotten into any of them. I actually have another audition in a couple weeks that is honestly the one I'm probably most excited about. It's an in-person like kind of callback audition, so I'm really excited about that one. This is the one that I feel like I was hoping the most to get into. Honestly, I still kind of can't believe I'm auditioning for professional ballet companies, because I just kind of always thought that was something I would never really be able to do, never really get to the point where I was ready to do, because I did start later. I started when I was almost 11, and I just thought that was too late to start and like potentially go professional. But I'm learning that it's not about what I can do, it's about what God can do through me, and I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Just kind of relying on Him and trusting His plan, and I don't know what that is, but there's just so much joy and freedom in like waiting in the Lord and letting Him guide your steps. Even if I don't get into a company this year, I'm just like giddy with excitement and joy that I get to audition and get this experience and pursue this dream that was on my heart for so many years and then kind of died away as I got older. And now the Lord has placed this dream back on my heart, and it's been beautiful and just the most incredible journey, and I'm so thankful for every second of it, every step of it. I wouldn't change it for the world. Yeah, it's just incredible. But I can't even believe, you guys, like 10-year-old Grace would be losing her mind right now if I told her that 20-year-old Grace was auditioning for professional ballet companies. I plan to document on here kind of that journey that the Lord has me on. And like I said, I have an audition in just over 3 weeks now that I'm really excited about. It's an in-person one, so I'm gonna have to travel a little bit to get there. But I'm excited to see what God's gonna do through this new dream that He's placing on my heart. That is my dance journey, my ballet story, and I hope you guys can just see how the Lord has been at work through all of it, and that it helps you guys believe that He is working all things for your good and that He has a plan for your life, and He's gonna accomplish it, you guys. Like, it doesn't matter what obstacles you face or moments where maybe you kind of fall away from the Lord or you're not living as faithfully as you should. Like, He is still working in it, and He makes it all beautiful in His time. And I would encourage you to just lean into His plan for you and trust that He has good things in store, and be okay with not knowing what that is. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember again to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Bye!